progress.
Excellent. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome everyone on our Zoom call. Mr. Jabili, are you hearing me okay over there, sir?
I am, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Excellent. Good afternoon to you. Mr. Lucero, can you hear me okay, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Excellent. You're coming through loud and clear as well. Mr. Green, is that Mr. Green I got at the front at the jail?
Mr. Grind, sir.
How do you pronounce it?
Grind.
Mr. Grind, welcome to you. Have all three of you gentlemen here in open court and on the record. I'm going to begin this afternoon with Bradley Grind. Mr. Grind's present on two separate matters. I'll begin with 24-4324M. Recall that first case, Mr. Grind, is a case in which you've been charged with violation of park rules and regulations alleged to have occurred at 5001 South Inca Drive back on January 4th of this year at approximately 10:30 a.m. Court records show that he had failed to appear for a properly ordered court date, the original court date on the ticket that was issued February 28th of this year. He's currently being held on $50 cash only bail amount in this first case, and this is personal recognizance mandatory based on the nature of the charge. He's also being seen this afternoon on 23-193M. Recall the second case, sir, is a case in which you've also been charged with park rules violation. This case alleged to have occurred at 5100 South Inca Drive back on October 25th of 2023 at approximately 10:18 a.m. Court records show he had failed to appear for the original court date on January 10th. He's currently being held on $50 cash only, also personal recognizance mandatory. Mr. Jabili, please enter your appearance on his behalf on both matters.
Thank you, Your Honor. Khalid Jabili, 39212. Your Honor, I did speak to Mr. Grind about these cases. He would like to accept the following disposition, that he would plead guilty to park rules violations in both cases. There would be 10 days jail suspended in each case on the condition of no further violation of the law for 1 year. The city is indicating to him, and I did advise Mr. Grind that the city would object to them running concurrent if there is a violation, if he is found guilty on any new law violations. I did advise Mr. Grind that we probably wouldn't be resolving that today. That would only happen were he to be found in violation. That's the advisement I gave him. I don't know if the court wants to advise him differently. I also did advise Mr. Grind that any new park rules violations within the city of Englewood would obviously, if convicted, violate the terms of this sentence.
Understood. And I apologize. What were you saying that the court may want to advise further on?
Your Honor, the city has taken the position that they are objecting to them running concurrent. And my advisement to Mr. Grind is that the city is staking out that position now, but we obviously, it's my belief that that would not be litigated now. That would obviously be litigated were he to be ultimately found to be in violation.
Understood. And I agree that ultimately it would be a sentencing issue for the court. You know, general practice of the court at sentencing on multiple cases is generally to consider each of those consecutive until further sentencing. And you're exactly right that the court would maintain discretion on that sentence if, in fact, it were ever imposed against him in the future. Any questions or concerns about that? Sorry, sir, going back. Mr. Grind, going back to you, do you have any, did you see the video advisement of your rights today, sir?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you understand it okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you have questions for me before we proceed regarding the nature of the charges against you, your rights, the procedures of our court, the plea bargain being offered to you today, or in fact any other questions?
I do not.
And so do you understand what me and your attorney were just talking about the maximum possible punishments would be up to potential jail sentence of 20 days if the court found you in violation and followed the prosecution recommendation in this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Any questions or concerns about that?
I don't have any.
Okay. If you don't have any other questions or concerns, going back to the first case, how do you plead? Well, how do you plead in both cases to the same charge of park rules violation? Guilty or not guilty to both?
Guilty to both.
You understand that by pleading guilty to both, you're giving up all your rights to trial in both cases, including potential jury trials to your peers in both cases?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you also understand that you're effectively telling the court that this is your decision and your decision alone to plead guilty and accept this plea offer today? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Counsel, would you waive further advisement in the establishment of factual basis on both counts?
I would, Your Honor.
In that case, I'll accept his pleas as voluntary pleas with knowing and intelligent waiver of his rights. Before I proceed to sentencing, city wish to be heard on these matters?
No, Your Honor. I think it was a violation of park rules. The defendant in one case had been warned a number of times regarding the rules of the park, was found to be camping underneath one of the pavilions at 10:30 in the morning. He was cited for that initial park rules, and then also in addition to that, as I mentioned before, he received multiple warnings about what was allowable in the park. He was contacted by EPD and also again cited for park rules. They're park rules violations. That's the reason for just a suspended sentence at this point in time. Mr. Grind just knows that you can only get so many warnings before we kind of have no other options but to move forward. But that's the reason for the suspended sentence, Judge.
Thank you. And city's not requesting any restrictions from the park areas there, correct?
Judge, that is correct. Like I said, he wasn't trespassing at that time. He wasn't causing any sort of damage, anything of the sort. It was just the next step up from getting multiple warnings. So we considered it, but frankly, at this point in time, as long as he comports himself well, I think he can still enjoy the use of our parks.
Understood. Okay. And Mr. Jabili, do you wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Grind, do you wish to be heard?
No, sir.
Anything you want to tell me about these incidences or about yourself you think I should know before I finalize sentencing, and don't feel like you have to say anything?
I don't have anything to say.
Appreciate your willingness to take responsibility for your actions in both these matters, and I can look forward to successful termination of both cases. In both cases, I'm going to follow prosecution recommendation of a 10-day jail sentence. Further, I'm going to impose a fine, but I'm going to suspend all the fine. Sir, I assume you have no current form of income. Do you have any current form of income?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. And so I'm going to fine you $150 on each case, but I'm going to suspend all $150 of the fine, leaving you zero fine to pay. Further, I am going to impose some costs totaling $80. Looks like $50 for the cost of a bench warrant issued and $30 for court cost everybody pays for appearing in municipal court. However, I'm going to authorize community service at $20 an hour. If you do 4 hours of productive community service hours, you can pay your balance in full that way. You can do those hours at any nonprofit that's designated as such, who's willing to sign off and supervise on your hours. Do you happen to have a nonprofit in mind?
Yes, sir, I do.
And who might that be, if you don't mind me asking?
Life Center Food Bank.
Yeah, okay. And, you know, I'm not sure that I've received some hours from them in the very recently, but you're welcome to ask if they're willing to sign off and supervise. Maybe next time you're over there getting some services, maybe you can return the favor and do some community service hours over there. The 10-day jail sentence in each case and the $150 fine in each case is going to be suspended on the singular condition of no further violations of the law for a 1-year period. That excludes minor traffic issues or of 8 points or less, but you got to stay out of trouble. Any additional convictions with a date of violation after today's date could subject you to the up to 10 days in each matter. Please consider this an unsupervised probationary period of 1 year. Do you understand that important condition of an unsupervised probationary period of 1 year?
Yes, sir, I understand.
And, you know, I know it can be difficult out there if you're still experiencing homelessness. Is that the case for you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Sorry to hear about that. And, you know, upon your release from custody, if you feel like you're not being supported by the community in order to help yourself out of some of those issues, feel free to stop by the courthouse. The courthouse has a voluntary program called the Court Navigator Program. First and foremost, he helps people be successful in compliance with court orders. So if you need any help in connecting with local nonprofit, he can help you with that. But secondarily, he helps folks connect with local nonprofits and government agencies for services, things like local food banks, housing lists, medical resources, those types of things. And so if you feel like you need some support, feel free to stop by the Englewood Municipal Courthouse just on a voluntary basis upon your release. He's generally here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday all day, okay?
Yes, sir. I talked to him at the food bank over at Wellspring.
Oh, excellent. On Sunday, yeah. He gets over there a fair amount even on the weekends. And so I'm happy to hear that and that you've met Arnie. Arnie's a very nice guy and certainly could be a resource for you upon your release, okay?
Thank you very much.
So, do you have any questions or concerns about your sentence?
I do not.
Just going to give you the one court date in both matters. That'll be the date in which your case is scheduled to be terminated out about a year from now. Please don't forget about the case and the requirement of doing those community service hours and staying out of trouble, okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
Good luck to you, sir. You have a great day.
You too.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Berube was a refusal. I don't know if the court wants to call that matter.
Yeah, why don't we make some brief record, but if that's the only other person we're seeing in custody today, I'll just thank the deputy and they can disconnect, I guess, at this time if they would like. Are you both comfortable with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Deputy. Everyone have a wonderful day over at the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you. Now calling the matters of Lindsay Burby. Looks like Ms. Burby is being held on two separate matters, one at 75 cash only and one at 1,500 cash surety. Counsel, any information you could provide would be helpful. I don't think we received any information from the jail on her today.
Yes, Your Honor. What I'm showing is those two holds the city, or I'm sorry, the court has mentioned, and as well as a 24M560. I'm showing $1,000 cash as surety. Her next court date on that case is April. Okay, that is probably an error. It says April 2nd, 2025. I think they probably mean April 2nd, 2024. Division 401.
Yeah, okay. Sounds like a county case. Is that what we're describing there?
Correct, Your Honor, with the next appearance of what I can only guess is April 2nd.
Okay. And so I apologize. I was looking at some other information. And so what is the main reason for her lack of appearance today? In your mind, is it refusal or is it some other issue at the jail?
The jail indicated refusal, Judge. And I did look at her two matters here. I think she's already been advised for arraignment. However, I don't believe either of these are PR bond mandatory for me to make a record. And so that's the record I would make.
And that she's a refusal and that she could just be added onto the docket for tomorrow's consideration. Is that a fair assessment?
That is, Your Honor.
Okay. So do you have any different view of that?
No.
Okay. And with that, then I'll just notify the jail that we'll see Ms. Burby tomorrow. And if there's ongoing issues, we can take those up and on the record. But I appreciate everybody's efforts to communicate those and try to make some record of why defendants are not being seen so that we can honor everybody's constitutional rights through that process. So I appreciate everybody's efforts with that. Anything further today, Mr. Jabili?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further, Mr. Lucero?
No, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you. Court's in recess.
Recording stopped.